So let's just get settled. Heads up, there may be some disruption before 8:30, but I hope there isn't going to be because Judith will be being returned but she's pretty tired. I think it's a lot for 92 to go out to a restaurant anyway. Settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. You can have both feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. And your knees about a hip's width apart. You can have your hands just sort of very gently nestled in your lap. So, for those of you who are on the East Coast, I've never really offered this before, but, if you're really exhausted, you can lie down. Just turn your camera off so it doesn't distract everyone. But if you feel like you need to kind of lay back in your chair, if you have one of those chairs where the legs come up and the back goes back, you can do that. And if you're really just completely exhausted, it's so late, you can just lie on your bed and do the practice. So I wanted to offer that for people if they felt that that was something to do. One of my Burmese Vipassana teachers, I was having some difficulty at some point with something. And he just said to me, "Oh, you can just lie down." But, the group that we were meditating with was so kind of serious about their practice. There was no way I could have laid down in the Gompa without any kind of comment from anybody. So any of you who've known of a Vipassana group would probably understand that it's really not considered the done thing. So I didn't. I think the most I did was to get up and walk around outside. But he was very sweet, this man. He was an older Burmese man. He was an accountant. And he gave me permission to lie down on the floor, which I thought was really sweet. Anyway, where are we? We're at hands in our lap, and feel the sensations of your sits bones on your chair and your shoulders over your hips and your ears over your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light that stretches from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And imagine you're lengthening your spine and put some space in between the vertebrae. And then you can go to the crown of the head and just release any tension there, coming down through your face, relaxing your face and your body. And we've been chatting and I was late, so we are now late. So I'll go through this a little faster than normal. So then just notice the sensations of your breath. Allow your mind to settle as you breathe, as you become aware of your breath. And just be aware if there's any sound in your environment that you could possibly be distracting you. And then just check in with your mind, just see how you're doing. Some space in between your thoughts. And then we can think about our friends, our enemies, and our strangers, and just bearing in mind that even though we feel differently about them, they're all equal. They all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer, and they all have an extraordinary capacity for this enlightened mind. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind. So instead we can create positivity. We have that choice. So we start with this the first of the four opponent powers. Some different lineages do them in different order, but this is a lineage taught by Lama Yeshe. It's been passed on to me, Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So we start with the first of the four opponent powers, which is regret, not the same as guilt. Regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. In general, just regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. So every action we do creates a karma. So if it's a negative action, we're going to have a negative result at some point down the track. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we regret from the depths of our hearts harming others with our body and our speech and our mind. Broken our vows because we don't want any future suffering. So we think, what can we do about it? Whom can we turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us necessarily. We're not wanting that. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for medicine to heal ourselves. So we're relying upon the medicine, the methods of Vajrasattva. So you imagine Vajrasattva is above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and with dressed in the Royal Indian style. He's a beautiful, radiant face, and his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right holds a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And when they're crossed like that, with the left hand closest to the heart, that represents enlightenment, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. And so in order to develop compassion, this is just a little section here on developing compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, which is why it's under the heading reliance. And we rely upon the beings we've harmed, the beings who've harmed us. So how we do that is we generate a wish in our heart for them to be free from suffering. So then we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dira Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hom pe, vajrasattva samayam nupalaya, vajrasattva dinapatita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kamasita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. So be delighted that any harm you may have done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you, all of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita. Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawakama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine, this happens as instantaneously as when you flick on a switch in a dark room and then the light comes. So you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and then all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachments, all your neediness, all your bitterness, your grudges, jealousy, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jida meboa, Sutukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Triyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Jida meboa, Sutukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Jida meboa, Sutukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Jida meboa, Sutukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Jida meboa, Sutukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dinapatita, Jida meboa, Sutukaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So again, be really delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, fills you completely. So start with the nectar and imagine all the negativity of the body being pushed out of the lower orifices, and all the negativity of the speech being pushed up out of the top orifices. And then the light comes and just blasts all of the negativity of the delusions of the mind. And so this way completely eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. So that visualization is quite busy because you've got things coming down, nectar going up, and light coming in. So just to try and imagine all that happening at once as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasiti Mimpiyatsa Sawakama Sitam Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old stuff over and over again. So you have to decide that you want to refrain from harming, and then you create a plan about how you're going to do that. So you would first of all maybe choose something that you'd like to work on in your mind, some habit that you have with your body, with your speech, and then maybe develop an awareness around that, and then maybe just think about it. So give yourself a reasonable timeline to work on these things. Maybe it's just 30 seconds a day, but just keep it fairly consistently something you're working on. And then rejoice in your efforts for coming along tonight, particularly you people in different early and late time zones. So Vajrasattva, imagine, is delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind, and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little on emptiness. So he thinks like this: in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, just place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me might not necessarily be the way they actually exist. That's always worthwhile thinking about. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice run as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do chanting the names of Manjushri. This is for the swift discovery of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So they say Rinpoche somewhere, but they don't know where. Well, they might know where, but they're not saying where. Anyway. The whole, aware of self, aware of other, for fit for all, he is the best of men, surpassing all to which he is compared, supreme most lord of knowing and what's known. The foremost master of imparting Dharma, who shows the meaning of the fourfold seal, the most revered amongst all living beings, engaged in going forth on all three paths. With glory purified by ultimate truth, most fortunate within the threefold world, the celebrated source of all endowments, supreme among the glorious, Manjushri. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for coming along. Lots of love, everybody.